So, welcome everyone. I'm Alexander Mihalcha, and today we have one of the industry leaders, Mohib Un Nabi, CEO of Accent Industries. Welcome, Mohib. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Alex. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. And awesome. And I'm excited to have you on the podcast today. And I'm sure you're going to be of great value for the audience. Now, before we dive in, could you give us a quick overview of what Accent Industries does?
See, basically, Accent is now known as Modular Accent Building Developers. We have started company back in 2003, primarily focusing on oil and gas sector. In Dubai, we have a lot of oil and gas exploration projects going on. So those people who are supposed to work at oil and gas needs to have facilities like homes, gyms, hospitals, and we're talking about a large sum of people, something about 15,000, 20,000 people, to develop a complete city for them. And it's a big projects. So if you come and see any oil field, you will see there are a lot of temporary accommodations there, and this accommodations usually serve the oil field as a city, as a home for people who work there throughout their life. So we were developing those cities there in Abu Dhabi and Dubai and across GCC. So this is how the Accent was initiated initially. Later, when I realized the potential of modular and how we can apply modular in making permanent houses, things changed. And we were totally focused towards developing hospitality, healthcare, and accommodations for ultra luxury properties. So we moved our focus primarily from oil and gas towards permanent accommodation and permanent building development.
Okay, that's really fascinating. And basically, what inspired you to create Accent Industries? Was there a specific moment or experience that sparked this journey?
See, we want to always help people, and we had a background in oil and gas, so we thought this is a something where we can help people creating better living conditions in extreme heat, because if you come to UAE, it's a very hot and humid temperature in there.
Right.
So you cannot, like the petrol we are having in US is coming out of UAE, and those petrol people who are working in the site have to have a face severe weather conditions. So these houses were built to be very safe and secure and comfortable for them, so they can work and they can operate these oil fields, big oil fields. And this is not just an oil field, because we have some offshore also. So there's offshore wells are situated somewhere inside the coast, and you have to have accommodations built on ships. So this idea of creating a space to work, to live, was the idea behind Accent.
Yeah, okay.
And we still believe in it. We as humans are unique, and we require places to live, to work, to live the life we want to live. And now with more of AI, and after corona, a pandemic, we spend more time inside the facilities, offices or homes. So this is where we spend our life, and if we can create something beautiful, or something more livable, something more sustainable, this is
Right,
what
right.
Action is all about.
Okay, but I have a curiosity by then. So, for example, what are the key benefits of modular construction compared to the traditional methods?
Alice, I want to ask you one question right now. uh, if you take an analysis of the complete demographic of workforce, how many of your friends are working as a construction workers?
A few.
So, and if you ask them, how many of them wants their kids to become a construction worker? None.
Yeah, yeah.
Understand this. The demographic of my people working with me in this industry for last 20 odd years, none of them have wanted their kids to become a construction worker. And this has been going on. I've seen as a huge shortage of construction workers despite of AI. We couldn't find workers here. It's
Right.
very costly affair. You see the prices of housing going up higher and higher. Yeah, lately I was going through a research where Gen Z are affected very badly. They are like they cannot. afford a house to live until they are in late 50s.
Hmm.
Just imagine. Just imagine the housing crisis across the globe. And there is no two ways about it. Like, if you have immigration laws which restricts people to move to US and work, well, and your workforce is already fully saturated, from where you're going to find workers to build houses?
Yeah.
You see around you, Alex. When you were a kid, you see how the phone was. It was this big, and then computer was this big, and there was no iPad, and there was no. But you see the houses is still the same. That is
Hmm.
the only industry which hasn't changed since your grandfather's age.
Yeah.
So you see any industry around you, the way we shop, the way we talk, the way we proceed with our businesses, the way we are holding this podcast. It it wasn't like this 40 years ago or 30 years ago, even 10 years ago. Now things have evolved such a speed, but construction is still at least 100 years old, and
Hmm.
that's the industry which I feel needs to have a change. Any change will take time. It will not be very quick, especially with industry where people don't want to change. But when you don't have an option, then you don't have an option, then you have to go with it. And I see modular and any new form of construction has to be the way forward, like the EVs. 15
Yeah.
years ago, if I would ask you, would you buy an electric car, you will laugh at me. You'll say, are you crazy? What electric? Is it battery operated remote control car? Now, the market capitalization of electric car versus all the Mercedes and Rolls Royce combined is more.
Yeah.
People see electric as the future of automobiles. Sooner you will see the same happening with construction. Sooner, very soon. So
Okay.
I feel that's the need of an hour, and that is where we can help people to afford a home. Like, what people require is a place to live, to work, to grow their family. And if they can't find with all the degrees, I don't see there's any other way we can help them by giving
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
home.
I see. I see. And for example, because you mentioned this, and I think this is very interesting. So, how did you identify the opportunity to apply a modular construction to the EV charging station?
See, EV in predominantly requires a mass rollout plans to become sustainable. Now, UAE particularly is not a very big country. It's a small country as terms of space. But I've
Yeah.
lived in US. When you're talking about US or even Saudi Arabia, Saudi is a big country. To roll out actual EVs, you need charging stations, and that is something where modular can fit in, because you just produce a charging station with basic amenities, and you can contact with the government or even existing petrol stations to create a space for EVs. And the same petrol stations using the same infrastructure, we can roll out EV in a full-fledged manner.
Yeah.
And we are closely working with some of the battery rollout plans companies who are helping in the developing a fast charging station with the EV and modular, because modular is the way of construction and EV is the way of charging. When you combine both, you can help them in n number of ways.
Okay. I see. And why do you believe that modular construction is essential for rolling out EV charging infrastructure?
If I would ask you one more question, like if you want to go in the middle of Texas, let's say somewhere close to Grand Canyons, and
Yeah.
you want to work there, how would you construct an EV station? Tell me, how would you construct? You have to bring your workers, you have to give them food, you have to give them home, you have to give
Yeah.
them place to sleep, you have to create infrastructure there to develop the stations. The cost of doing all of this versus cost of designing a pre-built, pre-manufactured modular which can be rolled out, put, installed, and leave. It's not even comparable. I can develop 1,000 stations in less than 6 months versus I developed 10 stations in 2 years.
Hmm. Okay.
Like, it's the same thing. Like, if I would ask you to build iPhone from hand, you can do that. I'm not saying you cannot do that. You can do that, but then iPhone price would be $1 million per phone.
Yeah.
You cannot roll out. See, understand this. Construction is just like building a painting with number of workers, with some engineers and artists. It's not manufacturing. What we are trying to do with modular is to convert construction into manufacturing.
Hmm.
When you manufacture something on a conveyor belt, it's way faster and better and efficient.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. And for example, how can modular kiosk simplify the deployment of EV charging station in region with the limited infrastructure?
See, now let's say we are talking about oil and gas distributor called ADNOC, which is very big, and we are working.
Yeah.
We are lucky to work with such a esteemed organization. Now, ADNOC is keen to develop EV, and when we talking about EV stations, modular can be pre-designed, like a petrol station pre-designed,
Yeah.
and we can roll out the complete turnkey solution with solar panels, sustainable, with completely recyclable materials, and build those stations designed as per the infrastructure requirement of current ADNOC stations across UAE. We target 100 stations in year one, 200 in year two, and in less than 5 years, we can roll out all the stations with EV. Just imagine if we can have charging with fast charging systems on every petrol station. Why would person go to buy petrol? You know why we are buying petrol? Because we believe we cannot go and commute long distances, and most of us
Hmm.
are afraid because there are not enough charging stations when you're going outskirts. But let's say, but there are still charging stations for petrol engine, which is petrol pumps. If we
Yeah.
can roll out something with existing infrastructure without creating something new, we are adding a completely new sustainable future of transportation. And not for just for cars, I'm talking about. We're talking about now drones. We're talking about deliveries through
Hmm. Yeah.
automated vehicles. These drones can go and charge and then go again. See, the future is now with AI, and
Yeah.
AI is not going to be the same as we are thinking and talking right now. They will they This entire future of new cities, smart cities, are based on efficiencies, and efficiencies cannot be achieved without thinking out of the box. Right now, when we talk about modular is not a system; it's a hybrid, because it's like a it's like a word which is used in many different fashions. But you cannot say building a house with woods is modular, building a house
Hmm.
with steel is modular, building a house with concrete is modular. Modular is a system where we combine a hybrid between existing and futuristic things by reducing the cost of doing it and creating the efficiencies in it by improving the quality. Let's say if I'm having a construction of a house where everything is pre-designed, pre-built, and tested at the factory before
Yeah.
going to site, versus worker who is working at 45 degrees Celsius heat and having everything to come and go and 4 hours of commute. It's not achievable.
Yeah.
So that, and even in the same goes with coal. We are working in some of the projects where we are talking about delivering a very big facility for Northern Ireland, which is a coal. So you're talking about minus 15 degrees Celsius. Now, how would you
Yeah.
build a house in minus 15 degrees Celsius when 6 months is very bad temperature to go out there and work? And it's life threatening. So from extreme to extreme, and I think this is going to be a future of construction and future of future developments, not just for houses, but any kind of buildings. We talk about an office space, we talk about a school or a hospital or a hotel. And you know Marriott's is now keen to develop any upcoming project. 25% will go into modular build.
Yeah. I know.
25%. So just imagine that few of the top players have already researched and have already proved that this is a reliable way of development their future projects. So
Yeah.
I think it's already done now. We are on the way to expand.
Yeah. Okay. And what are the key of sustainability benefits of using the modular construction for EV charging stations?
So the number one benefit is the materials. See the wastage. Sustainable means things where we don't waste the resources. Where we don't consume more energies. where we don't consume more human energies also. So imagine we have tested materials which have been proven as sustainable and green, use of recyclable materials, where we don't destroy our planet. Those
Yeah.
are built, designed, and tested inside the factory, versus using old materials which are 50, 100 years old and been using for almost once, 2, 3 centuries. There is no innovation in it. Plus the use of vehicles to take people, the use of vehicles to take material, the use of vehicle to run them, make them live in that place for n number of months to complete the project. Just imagine all this versus everything pre-designed, pre-built, and
Okay.
delivered. It's the same concept. I'm again telling you, like Tesla. If I would ask you to build Tesla with hands, you can still build Tesla, but how many Teslas would be there? You
Yeah.
know, automobile industry, how they started? Until Ford, until Ford, everything was designed and built individually. Then Ford came up with this conveyor belt concept and things changed. That was so successful that Ford became number one at that time to market automobiles, mass markets, and that was the way forward for anybody else at that time. Today I'm saying the same thing for modular. It's happening. It's already started. The things is, uh, if you ask about the system and technology, yes, it is going to be the future. Now the problem is, how do we roll out? Because the rolling out is not that easy part. Conceptually it is the best, but getting it done is not that easy at this point of time, because many of the government are are keen to develop it, but they have to go through compliance and change
Yeah.
of systems, and so it is taking time. It's just matter of time, that's it.
Yeah. So basically, this was my next question is about how does the UAE's focus on sustainability influence your business strategy?
See, uh, I'm lucky to be living in UAE, and UAE is very, very fast and future-oriented country, and it's a country where you can see future happening with your eyes. So let's say if you have visited UAE in 2020, and you have visited UAE 2022, 2024, every 2 years you see everything is changing and evolving, and it is such a rapid pace. Like I visited UK, let's say after 10 years, and I see maybe one couple of 2, 3 buildings coming up, but here the whole city would come up in that amount of time.
Yeah.
So we are not running, we are not walking, we are flying in UAE. Really, it's
Right.
a flying country, and that is the reason we believe in our leaders, and we believe that I think we are blessed with leaders who are so much future oriented and so much caring about the people who are living inside the country. So UAE is the place where you can actually roll out things very easily, because everybody has an interest to do that. It's not
Yeah.
bureaucratic, and this is the reason I love UAE, because it's the least bureaucratic country you can see. You have an idea, go talk to government and they will say welcome, how can we help you? And that's the reason many of the companies, entrepreneurs are moving to UAE. And when you see more people moving to UAE, that means more development. More development
Yeah.
means again more construction, and more construction means again more modular. So that's why we are in a sweet spot at this point. And I think UAE is playing a major role in doing sustainable, eco-friendly developments across the country.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. And also, could you share your experience working with the Abu Dhabi government on the futuristic building projects?
Yep. It is a very, very nice project we have done, and we were lucky to be part of the project. The project was located at Sadiyat, and the challenges were at Sadiyat, there is no labor camps. So imagine the nearest labor camps is 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So, imagine we all have to work in this 24 hours, 8 hours for work, 8 hours for sleep, and 8 hours for everything else. So out of those 8 hours, if you take 8 hours just for commutation, when will you work and when will you sleep?
Yeah.
Plus, the site itself was a very tight link site. We cannot have an access to site because it was next to a marina, and it is a place where all the high net worth individuals go for taking their yachts and having a nice time over the weekend. So they don't want any disturbance of sounds also. Plus, they don't want to compromise on the quality of the build. So we introduce our system that we would be building something better than the quality we can get in situ, which is concrete, and it would be more sustainable, it would be more eco-friendly, and it would give them a space which would be enjoyed over n number of years, and at, at at a convenience. The convenience is where you don't have to see construction workers coming to the site every day for next 12 months,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's not about the money. We are more expensive sometimes in compared to normal systems. The reason is we are based on steel, and steel is more expensive than a brick. You cannot
Hmm.
compare a brick and a steel together. A steel is a steel and brick is a brick, but steel
Yeah.
is more expensive than a brick. So our system was designed in mainly steel structures, and it was more expensive, but AD Ports was keen to work and to give us a chance to prove. And we worked with the international consultants and our local partners and delivered a good project. And they are happy with the speed and the quality of the build, and they loved it. And we are in now designing of n number of projects with similar entities, because, as I said, UAE is very future oriented.
Yeah.
They want to test the systems. They will give you chances, which is very rare across the globe. I'm telling you, it's not very simple to big entities like government entities to give you a chance to see and get an experience of something new, because they are scared. They say, if what if something fails, what if things doesn't go in our way. And this is I'm saying that we are blessed to be part of UAE success story. Yeah.
Okay, interesting one. And walk us through how Accent Industries addresses these challenges. What makes your approach unique?
See, now approach. If you ask, approach is about systems. So we are not selling buildings. My approach towards my product, it's not about the product. We are not selling just buildings. We are selling lifestyles. So lifestyle is what, like, you are living in a house, but when you ever enter in a house where you want to live, you will accommodate something which you like, which
Yeah.
you build, which will suit to your taste, even the color of your rooms, even the color of your chairs, even the color of your headphones or your shirt. It is built around you.
Yeah.
So we don't we don't design things based on what we want to sell. We design things what we know our people will enjoy for a number of years. So our systems are built on things which are long lasting, which is MSS steel. We are not using cold forms. We There's nothing against this technology, but here I want to build a system which is easily approved, which can be having mass rollout, and which is very future oriented. So our system is to combine three items together. One is the sustainable components of material. Second item is the latest technology we can get in construction. Now we are talking about some glasses. Now, when you see glass, like even this glass, now when you see this
Yeah.
glass, this is a normal glasses. But if you see closely, it's a Meta. So Meta is with AI. So a glass is a glass, but with this small feature, Ray-Ban has changed the market. Ray-Ban has entered into something which not many manufacturers are doing right now. But
Mhm.
this is the future. Same goes with Accent. Accent is totally targeted towards not doing and becoming the number one in selling 1 million houses, but selling good houses, selling those good buildings which are future oriented, which are AI based, technology based, and sustainability based. So our approach towards the business, towards getting things done, is to create value for our customers. Value in terms of their experience of consuming the building, value in
Yeah.
terms of environment, value in terms of sustainability, value in terms of technology. Now, the glasses we've used are such a high ranked for thermal transfer of U value, which is a technical term. So, when you have a glass building and there is a sun out there, all the heat get transferred
Yeah.
and the building becomes very hot. So you have to create a shade something, or sometimes you have to create a curtain inside to block the sun from entering. But what if the glass itself is very very high U value, where you can reduce the amount of sun coming in and block the heat, and so your air conditioning system will not get overheated and will not consume more electricity. So on as a layman, when you see it's a glass, but behind the glass there's entire engineering to be done. And this
Of
is
course.
where Accent is focused. Accent is not focused to, yeah, I've done 1 million buildings, 10 million buildings. No, it doesn't matter what's the number. What matters, what are qualities of those buildings, what are the
Yeah.
features of those buildings, how good are those buildings. So this is what we focus on.
Okay. And I often find that innovative solutions face the initial skepticism. So when you talk to potential clients, what's the biggest misconception they typically have about what you do?
This is a dilemma, what I can say. See, anything which is first time and people are not used to it, they will associate that particular idea with something of image what they have. So when you say modular, they consider it prefab. A prefab house is temporary house, and it's assumed to be a low quality, or a porta cabin or something which is not going to last. It is temporary, which is like a camp.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest misconception of modular, comparing it with prefab or temporary. See, anything could be temporary. Even a new house could be temporary if you blow it away. But question is, it's not about a house; it's about system. The system of
Yep.
modular is what we want to convince to people that this is nothing to do. I can do a concrete building the way you want to build, or a wood building in the same way, but inside the factory. When I'm doing same thing inside the factory and bringing it in modules, piece by piece, it becomes modular. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the material. It has everything to do with the system, that built system, the technology
Yep.
which we are trying to use. It's same like Ford was built by steel. Rolls Royce was also built by the steel, with almost similar sort of combustion engines, with similar sort of engineers. But when we were doing on conveyor belt, the system was designed to produce mass products,
Right.
bringing the cost of production to substantially lower prices where an individual can afford. Now, Alex,
Yeah.
if I ask you, what is your dream? Like anybody has a dream to have a house.
Yeah. Of course.
Anyone from my age, your age, or any age, a man wants to have a house. I will ask you one question. Google it. The affordability index of a house in last 15 years, especially after Corona, has skyrocketed. You cannot afford a house. If
Yeah.
I can give you a house, I can give you a dream to live with your family, a sustainable, happy, healthy life. And if I put a solar on it, you will not pay electricity bills. If I put a Skynet on it, you will not be able to pay for any telecom. You can have an internet wherever you are. If I can also put something which is hydro air, where you can make conversion from air and get water, then you will get water also. Just imagine these systems communicating with itself and having a house in a beautiful lake, you living in it with your
Yeah.
family. What else you want, man? Like,
Yeah. Right. Right.
is still holding a podcast. So this is the thing that we are trying to educate people, that don't take anything as preconceived. You have to understand, but first you have to listen what other person is trying to say. So thank God, in UAE people are willing to listen to you at least. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Right. You have right. And now, looking at the broader industry, what key trends are you seeing in?
See, industry is so big, so big. Like if I ask you, in a podcast industry, so big also. People are holding podcasts on fashion designing, on jewelry, on business, on ideas, on. So when we're talking about modular is a very very big, like a second. Anything you build means starting from schools, hospitals, workplaces, airports, any infrastructure project, everything is construction. Now, when you want to talk about modular, I feel mostly people are focusing on housing, because housing is the biggest challenge. But the way they are approaching housing is itself a challenge. They want to put a cart before a house. Now, if I want to ask you, would you do a 15 million or $100 million investment on putting up a factory and then going out to look for a project, or finding a project first and then go build a factory? What
Yeah.
would be a wiser approach?
Yeah. Yeah. So the second one.
The second one, now mostly people in modular, to prove them that they can build, they go and borrow money from investors, put a $1 billion investment in the setting of a factory,
Yeah.
and then they think about how to get the projects. By the time they start their first project, the cost of doing a project is already very high.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then they will not get a second project, or even if they get it, they have accumulated losses worth in billions or millions of dollars. So they run short of cash, and then they give up because they don't have option, because investors have very what you call low
Limited.
appetite, limited
Yeah.
appetite to stay with you in bad times. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to make money. So they
Yeah.
want to make money. They trusted your ideas and they give you money, but they see when they 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, fourth year they say bye bye. Maybe 3 years.
Exactly.
Maybe. So so that is the dilemma we have seen in modular construction across the globe, especially in US and North America, where people can raise funds but they cannot run the company.
Yeah. And in your opinion, what advice would you give to others looking to innovate in the construction industry in the GCC region?
In GCC, see, GCC has such a big scope. I'm telling you, if you are a hard worker and you're smart to, and you have to be honest here. Here, you cannot see any country have their own advantages and disadvantages. Here, you can take it as advantage if you're honest. Like if you are honest about your work, if you are honest about things you want to sell, you cannot lose money. But when you try to cut the corners, when you try to bluff people, when you try to say no, I can do it in
Yeah.
6 months, mostly people are selling modular based on timing. No, timing will come, but timing will not come on immediately. Like for example, when you develop a new model of any Tesla car, it would take them years to develop the cars, then test it, then run it, then the rollout plan will come. Then also they have the delivery times because they are
Right.
designing on conveyor belt. Just imagine the same thing for modular. If I have an order for 1 million houses, yes, I will take at least 6 months to 8 months to design the system, to bring the procurement, to bring the designers, to bring the distribution, to understand the transportation, to understand how will, and then we roll out with maybe 100 houses only or 10 houses only to see how it will work. Then we can roll it out. No, when you overpromise something because your client is in pressure. Now here the clients are always in pressure. They will say, deliver me your modular. If a normal construction takes 4 years, deliver me in 6 months. Boss, we are modular, not magicians. So modular doesn't mean magics. So you have to have some patience. But it would be if I'm sitting on a loan and I have to prove myself, otherwise I'll get bankrupt. What I will do? I will say, okay, I'll give me the order, give me the order, and
Yeah.
then I will make a loss on my order. I will have an unhappy customer, and I will run into losses. And eventually, I'll close the business, and it will be business loss, but it will be also industry loss because people will say one more modular company has gone bankrupt. They will not say it was because of this particular individual or this particular financier who pulled out or whatever. Whenever the loss happens, it will happen to an industry because a person doesn't lose his business. The industry lose one player.
Yeah.
And because I'm very active player in modular business segment globally, like I know what's happening in US and I know what's happening in Europe, UK. We have office in UK, we have office in Dallas, so we know exactly people are trying to put cart before the horse.
Hmm.
So if I want to give an advice to my peers who want to enter into GCC, I would ask them to come before starting a business, spend some time with the consultants, spend some time with the construction companies who are working on modular and what challenges they face. It would be advisable to experience the industry before entering into one.
Hmm.
From outside, it looks very rosy,
Yeah.
but when you enter and jump in inside, you see the real consequences of not doing your homework.
Yeah. Exactly. So the practical way is total different from the theory part.
Absolutely. Like I love airline industry and I want to start my own airline. But when I see the realities, it's the most difficult, challenging business to do in the world.
Yeah.
Margin is this thing. Okay, you can say I'm an owner of an airline. Then what? you will have sleepless nights if you cannot manage to operate at such a low level of margins.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is
And
very, very important to understand what you are entering and why you are entering in that segment.
yeah, good advice though. And before we wrap up, I'm curious about what's on the horizon. So when you look at Accent Industries journeys over the next few years, what possibilities excite you the most?
For me, we are having a rollout plan in three different ventures now. We are trying to develop some concepts for future of air transport. Now we are working on some concepts of doing uh, flying cars
Yeah,
because it's in horizon right now. And the flying cars will be a totally different ball game. It's not going to be same. And flying drones and because I see future is not going to be human interactions. It would be a machine to machine interaction.
yeah,
And if we can build something for future, then it would be really cool. Like you don't really need to be coming to downtown of any city to work now. You are having your podcast from your place, which could be anywhere as
yeah,
far as you have internet. So we are working on smart houses, we are working on smart buildings, we are working on hospitality projects, big hospitality projects. We are doing a 5-star, 7-star hotel on the water. So the entire city, it's like you're building an entire island on the water with modular,
yeah,
with sustainable future. So there's some few concept and few projects we are working on, which are very interesting and they are unique because of the nature of the project itself is very unique. It's very interesting. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And for listeners who want to learn more or potentially work with Accent Industries, what's the best way to get in touch?
See, the best way to get in touch with me is always on getting on the website, and there's a WhatsApp, and the WhatsApp is directly reaching to me, and there's email addresses, and I'm always available on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a very useful platform to to get some advice from people you want to work or you want to gain some experience, and I'm always welcome because I believe in transferring the knowledge, and this is we should do. We should transfer our experiences to help
Yeah,
some people. Uh, and if you're helping people, then you're doing your job as a human being. If you're not, then
yeah,
what are you? You're a machine
yeah,
then.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And this is one of the reasons that I started this podcast session.
Excellent. Excellent, Alex. And this is a very nice step from you because I advise anyone who can give something back these days. Podcast is a very, very fantastic tool to communicate to people
Yeah,
and
yeah,
help them. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So thank you for sharing these insights about you, about the company, and about the whole story. And thank you for this amazing podcast session.
Thank you so much, Alex, and wish you best of luck for your future podcast.
Yeah, thank you too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.